too cynically, but that is what
Yeah,
often happens, isn't it?
yeah.
In other words,
That's what.
Arsenal may well be looked after in that.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting to see, aren't we? Just
Yeah,
waiting to see if
yeah.
we get the same treatment or the same whatever. Just waiting to see that. Now, the one that we're going to go to is Manchester United. Now Manchester United drew, and I can't remember who we played now, but it was a draw.
You were at Spurs. You were at Spurs, Tottenham.
That's it. Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, we're down south. Now it ended 2-2, but I was a bit pleased with the game because we played at least 10 minutes of the game. Now I can't remember if it's actually 10 minutes, but towards the end with 10 men down, 10 men, we finished the game. Let's say we finished the game 10 men.
Mm.
Now, although the game ended 2-2, I think it was Sesko that had this injury and was taken off and couldn't be replaced because Amorim had already exhausted his substitutions. What do you make of that game between?
Of course, Man United, they equalised, I think, in the 96th minute, didn't they?
Yeah,
Which is always a hammer blow to the team that was winning and probably thinking, oh, we got 3 points. Yeah, I mean, it's just unlucky if you've used your subs, all of them, five, I think, isn't it? If you've used
mm,
every one and then you get an injury, then it shows there may be some wisdom in keeping at least one sub back until perhaps the last 5 minutes or something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a bit unlucky, but they did well to come back and get that very, very late goal. Goals like that mean that the team and the fans leave feeling they've won because you know you're going away until the 96th minute with nothing in this particular case. And then to get a point at an away game against a fairly tough team, Tottenham, let's
yeah,
face it, you feel you've won. And it's like at Palace occasionally when you might be. In fact, Palace haven't lost at home. Might say this in the Premier League
mm,
since February, so that's quite a good record they've got going there. Um, but if you were losing at home by one goal, and then in the 95th minute you get an equaliser, believe me, you go away fairly joyful that you like feels like you've won because you've written the game off really after 90 minutes.
yeah,
So it was a great feeling for Manchester United to do that, particularly, as you say, as they were down to 10 men anyway. So, yeah, it depends when you make your substitutions. I always think Oliver Glasner, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He does tend to leave his substitutions to a bit later than some managers. Even if, like, after a Thursday game, like last week, they're getting visibly tired in the second half of the game. But he obviously knows what he's doing. And of course, these days they've got all these measurements. I mean, the players wear things, don't they? Which measure their heart rates and how far they're running and all the rest of it. So I suppose they can see. I believe they have access to that information during the game. They can see if somebody is wilting a bit. But I thought Sunday in the second half, Palace did wilt a bit, and I would probably have made changes a bit earlier. But yeah,
mm,
substitutions are a very key part of the modern game, and you have to manage those well to get the benefit of the squad system. So yeah, I mean, just on that, you can see one effect is again, it was a Tottenham player, wasn't it? The previous match, I forget who they were playing, but at the end of the game, Thomas Franks, the manager of Tottenham, was going around the pitch as the managers do, shaking hands or whatever with the opposition players and their own players. They give a bit of a hug to. Well, he put his hand up. He put his hand up for a high five to. I can't remember who it was, but in fact, two of the Tottenham players, and they completely ghosted him. And of course, there's a
wow,
guy with a camera right there. And as they just walk away, Thomas Franks is looking round at them I think, in a bit of disbelief. And it was an example of, if I'd been the manager, I would have been really angry about that, because it was humiliating for Franks when two of his players just walked past him, deliberately shunning his high five. So quite what the ups. I mean, to be fair, the players apologised, but if I'd been Thomas Franks, for me the damage would have been done. No, I'd be a bit of an Alex Ferguson on that. If someone did that to me, particularly so soon after I joined the club, but anyway, I would say the same. They'd be on their way out of the club. They would, and
Mm.
it's easier to say that if they're key players, of course. But I know Alex Ferguson had. Sometimes I remember one player, Jaap Stam, Dutch defender, a very good Dutch defender. He
Mm.
brought out his book, his autobiography, and he criticised Ferguson while he was still playing. Well, within a week or two, he'd gone, even though he was a key defender. And you should never humiliate a manager like that,
Yeah.
because once you get away with that, that kind of other players notice that, and that's not healthy. But anyway, I digressed a bit.
Mm.
But yeah, I think Manchester United, they seem to be picking up a bit now, don't they? They're doing quite
Yeah.
well this season, and to get a very late goal like that on the weekend was a great finish for them, and a bit of a blow to Tottenham, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they had a wobbly start in Manchester United during the um, first few games, really. Even in the Carabao
Yeah,
Cup, got knocked out by Grimsby,
yeah,
but it seemed to be
yeah. They've
it
picked up a bit, haven't they? They've
seemed to be
definitely
seemed
picked
to be
up.
picking up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now there was a worrying development between the match uh, in the match between Bournemouth and Aston Villa, I think it was, where
yeah. Villa and Bournemouth.
um,
Yeah,
yeah, where I think it was two Bournemouth players actually that had a head-to-head collision.
mm,
Um,
they did.
and I think I've got their names here: Tyler Adams and Adam Smith. Now, do we know if do we know anything about them? Yeah, because it had to be stretched out, didn't it? One of the Now I can't remember which one of
Yeah.
them had to stretch it out. I think one of them had to be.
No, it was a nasty collision. It
It
was a
was.
nasty collision. I
It
saw
was.
it,
It was a
but
nasty one.
obviously when that one of them's taken off on a stretcher, you've got to be a bit worried about it. But
Yeah.
I've heard already.